Good morning. My name is Bill Sullivan. I'm the Vice President General Manager for U.S. Federal Business at Denodo, the logical platform data company. We're interviewing Dr. Joe Perez on behalf of CDO Magazine. It's a pleasure to have Dr. Perez join us. Well-known public speaker at conferences around the world, and is going to share his thoughts on data, how to make it actionable, how to make it relevant, and how to deliver value through data. Your journey in the technology industry highlights a couple of interesting points, which is, they say that music majors actually make some of the best computer coders because they're used to aggregating
Yes.
a lot of diverse concepts down to a finite linear narrative. And so, you've been able to do that. Secondly, you've been able to move from the technology focus to the business focused. In other words, you're making the technology dance, right? At the end of the day,
Right.
what we're just talking about is how do we represent all the data we have in a way that is meaningful to people and usable. And it's a particularly critical skill these days with both the amount of data, the rate of growth of the data, and the analytic tools that we have. People just get overwhelmed. So how do you find ground truth in that sort of environment? So I enjoy that. How do you use data for your storytelling? You just touched on that a little bit. I mean, within government, within the state of North Carolina, with the complexities of human services delivery, how do you use some of that, your skills in order
Yeah.
to guide policy at the state?
Ooh, that's an excellent question, Bill. Um, Data is like gold. It's like oil. It's like, I mean, you can use all kinds of metaphors, excellent observations that you have. I see data as, well, let's see. Essentially, I see it as the backbone of modern storytelling. Okay. That is, it provides a powerful tool for crafting narratives. Okay, narratives that are both engaging and insightful. You got to have both. And when we are able to weave data into the fabric of storytelling, as it were, we can bring to life some pretty complex ideas. Uncovering those hidden patterns that people often don't see, and add a layer of authenticity to our narratives. Okay, see, in today's data-driven world, we we can't see numbers and statistics in the same way that we did in the old years, just as abstractions. Can't do that anymore, because you see, they hold the potential to evoke emotions, challenge perspectives, and even inspire action in many cases. Data can be used to give vivid portraits of characters, establish realistic settings as though it were a story, provide context for events that unfold in a story. And that's why it's called data storytelling. I love that. It's my passion, and continuing with that metaphor, it can also be used to create suspense, build tension, and even reveal unexpected twists and turns within the narrative story, thus making it more interesting, more compelling. And
Right.
speaking of a story, when data is used effectively in storytelling, again, that's once again data storytelling, there's a theme here, right? It can transform a narrative from just plain ordinary entertainment or just plain ordinary numbers into a great compelling exploration into the human condition. It can help us to better understand the world around us, to emphasize with a whole range of diverse experiences, and on top of all that, maybe even gain a much deeper appreciation for the richness and complexity of human existence. That sounds melodramatic, but it's not. Data in the hands of a skilled storyteller can do all that, can become
Right.
an instrument for truth, for empathy, and for understanding. That's my take on the thing, and that's what I'm so passionate about as I speak, whether I'm behind the stage at a conference, or in a conference room with my team, or in front of a classroom with students, or wherever. It's something that needs to be proclaimed, and it's something that needs to be done with passion, with clarity, and with accuracy.
Yeah, and that is it's an excellent point. It's the difference between a data point and information that's meaningful, right?
Right.
We saved 20% on our spend last year.
Ho hum.
Okay, so what? Okay, that allowed allowed us to expand the business or deliver more resources in government using that 20% in a much more efficient way, and it touched these 10,000 people as
Yes.
opposed to simply saying a data point. We saved 20% of our spend last year, right? So that's
Right.
kind of
What's
what
the
you're
story? Yeah,
what is the
exactly.
story?
What's the story behind the data? And
But you have all of this data now available, and so finding that the all the various intersection points, being able to articulate its meaning to somebody, making it
yes,
not
sir.
just data but valuable, is the intriguing point. Have you seen in your work any use cases that you'd like to highlight for us? Any business cases where it wasn't just a data point, but it became a full story that you'd like to share?
Sure, Bill. Data storytelling, how it's used effectively. So I'll put it this way. Um, Again, data storytelling has certainly found its way into numerous aspects of business, and quite literally transforming how organizations communicate, how they engage with stakeholders, and making informed decisions. I say that a lot. And I would say there's several examples that I can think of. First of all, data driven storytelling is revolutionizing strategies in marketing, for instance. Okay, they allow brands to craft personalized narratives that weren't possible in years past. Things that resonate with the audience that they're trying to reach. That's what you got to do, is resonate. By analyzing customer data, brands can identify trends, understand preferences, and even tailor their outreach and messaging, the whatever message that they're trying to convey. All that can be done with data. They can use data to measure how effective those marketing campaigns really are, and not just somebody says they're good.
Right.
What are the insights? How are you going to optimize future efforts? um, let's see, then there's product development that gets a big boost. Okay, I believe that data's role is pretty significant here too. Okay, it helps companies understand customer needs, identify market gaps there might be, validate concepts for some of these new products that they're trying to develop. By analyzing usage data, companies can uncover, again, hidden patterns, pinpoint areas where they need to improve, and again, make informed decisions. I keep coming back to that. I'm going to say that a lot, I'm sure, but informed decisions about
Yeah.
any features or functionalities that they might want to add to these products we're talking about. You see, data storytelling, Bill, can effectively communicate these insights to stakeholders. All right. And you can make sure that all of them are, they're aligned with each other, aligned with the mission, vision, and goals, and they get buy-in from those stakeholders throughout the entire product development process, right? If you don't have buy-in from your stakeholders, you cannot move forward with developing your product. That's a given.
That's a
Um,
particularly interesting point that I want to dig in on a little bit.
mhm,
The willingness of various stakeholders to share their data, oftentimes, particularly in
mhm.
government, but you'll see it in some of the large banks and insurance, whether it's HIPAA regulations or security regulations. People don't want to share their data. Have you seen
No, they don't.
approaches that enable that data sharing that will empower data storytelling? Because again, to move from a data point to an entire narrative, you need the richness of the data, some of which people are not willing to share. Have
Right.
again, seen approaches that encourage stakeholders in an environment to be willing to share their data?
Absolutely. It's all about making it relevant and making it resonate, making sure that everybody's on board, everybody's on the same wavelength. Okay, they're once they get the buy-in. Okay, once they see that what you want and what they want are the same thing. Okay, they see what's in it for them. They see what the value is. The not only the intrinsic value of the data itself, but what does it mean to me? What's it going to do to the bottom line? What are these peripheral stories? What are these peripheral facts that tie into how we're going to get things done? And if they see it as something that is in their own best interests, you're going to get buy-in much more quickly than you expect.
On behalf of CDO Magazine, we're truly grateful for you joining us this morning. We wish you all the best efforts there in North Carolina, and hopefully I'll be able to catch your presentation at a conference soon.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. The honor and pleasure have been mine, sir.
Thank you so much.